What, in your opinion, are the biggest challenges facing AISD today? And for this round of questioning, we'll begin with you, Mike.
Great. I just took myself off mute. I should have just stayed. No, I appreciate that question. And in no particular order, I'm going to start with community trust. And I feel like this is something that all of the candidates and myself have spoken about, in the sense that we're not going to be able to get anything done well, effectively, or sustainably without rebuilding that trust. And I think it is, at this point now, lacking almost across the entire district. Part of that stems from the fact that it's very difficult for citizens to comment to the board, to reach out, to access the administration. I think we're seeing now that there are, even during the COVID crisis, some similar but loud and effective voices are the ones that are penetrating through to the administration and to the board. And it's leaving a large cross-section of our district kind of left to figure things out for themselves. And so what I would like to do to address that is, one, I think we need to reduce the amount of time that the board spends in executive session. I think we need to leverage the district smartphone application to be able to provide real-time interaction with the community, because that smartphone app would be able to be translated into every possible language that we have across the district. And we just need to continue to think outside the box for how we can bring people into the district and not force them to have to get the district to listen to them. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Nolita, let us hear from you about the biggest challenges facing AISD.
Thank you for the question. So yes, I would boil it down to three main issues. First, adequate public education funding, being able to provide a strategically sound, planned legislative advocacy approach, especially as we near the legislative session of 2021. Right now, my understanding is that we have one person assigned to legislative matters. A district of our size really needs to have at least, a team or a group that is dedicated to that type of strategic advocacy work. The second thing would be strengthening our special education, improving services and treatment of special education, not from the standpoint of, how do we provide units and how do we segregate students based on learning abilities or exceptionalities, but looking at how we provide more inclusive instruction. And the third thing would be responding to the ripple effects of COVID that we will likely see for the foreseeable future. Not only basing reopenings on public health data, continuing to enhance online instruction, providing safe in-person instruction for students most in need, but also developing plans to bring students hopefully back up to grade level, or doing our best to provide SEL and kind of remediation or intervention as students do eventually come back to full face-to-face instruction.
Thank you. Now we'll go to Jared.
Great question, Ms. Evans. So for me, I would say that one of the most pressing issues that we're facing in AISD is our enrollment, basically. So basically, our enrollment issues are what's toggling a lot of things, such as our school funding. It all ties back to basically our enrollment. When we don't have our students in our classrooms, that's when we're losing that funding that provides that access to programs, to better funded programs and things like that. We know that many of the resources that we don't have, comes from that as well. In addition to that, equity, we have a chief equity officer now. However, getting that office staffed up, it has been a battle, and Dr. Stephanie Holly has definitely done what she can within her circumstances. So I'm excited to see how much more she's gonna do as we get this equity plan put together and get it off, get it off the ground and get it started. So those are the few issues. So like I said, equity, school funding, enrollment, of course, our academic performance for all of our students, as we all know. Not all of our students are performing and haven't been performing at the same level for decades. So these are the issues that I look forward to helping to tackle.
Thank you, Jared. Leticia?
Thank you, Roxanne. I'm going to echo a lot of the comments you've already heard. I will say short-term immediate is how do we educate our students safely right now during COVID? Our families are stressed, our students are stressed, our teachers are very stressed about what in-person will look like. How do we do remote learning and in-person at the same time? What are those safety protocols that are going to be in place? And so short term is, what does next week look like? What does the rest of the semester look like? Making sure that is communicated well and everybody is working together when we all are working together to the same goal. Long-term COVID, what are our long-term impacts? What kind of academic losses happened? What sort of, it was said earlier, social emotional needs are going to be there, mental health issues that are going to come of this, learning loss of 6 months of isolation that our students have been in. Then there's, again, community trust that has been broken all over the place. And of course, declining enrollment, that's been something that's been an issue since 2013 and continues to be an issue. The legislature continues to underfund public ed. That's not going to change. Even if the House flips blue, we'll still have a Republican-led Senate and a Republican administration and a budget deficit, a state budget deficit. So how the district handles those budget stresses is going to be really important going into the next school year. Thank you.
Thank you.